It's time for another episode of According to Football Manager 2018, and due to all the snow we've decided to head abroad for a bit of winter sun, so we're off to Barcelona, where apparently it's also been snowing, so never mind. The Catalan Giants are enjoying a pretty little season at the top of La Liga, with Atletico Madrid the only team challenging Ernesto Valverde's side of the title, as Real Madrid flounder under Zinedine Zidane. But what about 5 years in the future? How have things been going for Barca? Well, for starters, Valverde has departed the Nou Camp dugout, resigning in June 2019, and being replaced by a former Real Madrid manager, none other than Carlo Ancelotti. The Italian has been in charge of the club for more than 4 years now, but his trophy haul suggests that maybe he's looking to still have a job, winning just 3 honours since arriving. 3 trophies is nothing to be sniffed at, but just hear what they are. Ancelotti has won 1 Copa del Rey and 2 Spanish Super Cups, and that's it. No Champions League honours, no league titles, with the Madrid clubs always occupying top spot. The 2023-24 season has started well for Barca, beating Deportivo 3-0. So let's take a look at who started for the Catalan club and who else is or isn't in their squad. In goal was Marc-Andre ter Stegen. The German goalkeeper is still the Barcelona number 1 in 2023, with not a Jasper Cillessen in sight. As for ter Stegen, he certainly held up his end of the bargain for Barca, writing up clean sheet after clean sheet, recording 20 in 38 games during the previous campaign, which begs the question, how on earth were they not able to win the title? At right back, it's Serge Aurier, and there's our answer. We've seen various makeshift right backs at the Nou Camp in years gone by. One of those is still at the club in Sergio Roberto, but the academy graduate is potentially on his way out, sitting on the transfer list with an asking price of £5.25 million. The master of the foul throw, Serge Aurier, somehow wound up at Barca, joining the club for £18 million from Bayern Munich, where he spent 1 season after a move from Tottenham. In fairness to the Ivory Coast international, he might be erratic, but his ratings speak for themselves, boasting at least a 7 in every season since he arrived. Centre back is Wallace. The Brazilian hasn't been at the Nou Camp long, arriving in the summer of 2022 for £31 million from Juve, as the Spanish Giants look to refresh their centre-back options, with 36-year-old Gerard Piqué closing in on retirement with his lovely wife Shakira, having just moved to Real Sociedad where he will no doubt end his career. While Samuel Umtiti is still at the Nou Camp, seemingly unable to get a move away despite that reported £52 million release clause. Also at centre-back is Nathan Ake. Another recent arrival at the club, the lovely hair of Nathan Ake moved to Barcelona in January 2022, with Ancelotti paying Bournemouth £20 million to the defender, not of his own money obviously, which is probably the first time Barcelona fans have ever actually heard of Bournemouth, after they failed to make a move for Glenn Murray back when he was a cherry. But I suppose they've had enough players with tax issues, allegedly. At left back is Marc Cucurella, probably said that wrong. A current youth player at Barcelona, Cucurella has broken into the first team by 2023 and hopefully still got that wild hair because that Barnet is sublime. Look at it, don't you wish you could have hair as great as that? However, unlike Samson, his powers don't come from his hair, as the young Spanish left back has been putting in some shocking performances, proving that maybe he isn't the next Jordi Alba for Barca or Spain, being capped just once for his country so far. In defensive midfield is Ruben Neves. When the Portuguese midfielder arrived at Wolves last year, it was a real shock, with one of the highest rated youngsters in European football rocking up in the second tier of English football. Well, in 2023 it was apparently all worth it, as Neves has made his way to the Nou Camp, costing £40 million from Leicester, with the Foxes stealing him from Wolves earlier in the simulation. Neves has been sublime for Barca, donning the number 8 worn by the retired Andres Iniesta and keeping the ageing Sergio Busquets on the bench. In the centre of midfield is Lucas Torreira. A name that I'm certainly not familiar with, Torreira is a Uruguayan midfielder who in the present day is at Sampdoria in Serie A. Well, in 2023, Torreira has made his way to Barcelona via Manchester City, with the Catalan Giants signing him for £33.5 million. Now, Torreira hasn't had the same impact that a certain Uruguayan has had at the Nou Camp, and maybe it speaks volumes as to why they haven't won any league titles considering their disappointing centre midfield options. Torreira is alongside Maicon. Torreira has a South American partner at the heart of Barca's midfield, with Maicon recently joining the club in 2022 for £22.5 million, arriving from Corinthians where he spent all of his footballing days. In 2023, Maicon is 26 years old and bang average for the red and blue of Barca, who maybe regret letting Philip Coutinho leave the club, joining Juventus for a pretty nominal fee of just £30 million. On the right side of midfield is Ousmane Dembele. The Frenchman did briefly become Barcelona's most expensive player when he joined last summer, but that record was later smashed by little Phil Coutinho. But despite not holding that record, Dembele has got better and better every season at Barcelona, with his average rating rising every campaign, with the previous season seeing the attacker almost averaging 8 for the entire season, which as we all know is pretty damn impressive, but it means now when your defenders are getting 6.2s. On the left of midfield is Luis Suarez. The toothful striker is still with Barca at the age of 36, but has somehow wound up on the left wing, giving himself even more running to do despite being in the latter years of his career. Still donning the number 9, Suarez earns a whopping £350,000 a week, but is certainly deserving of it, scoring more than 20 league goals in 4 of the 6 seasons that have been simulated, averaging almost an 8 rating just like Dembele. And up front it's Patrick Schick or Cheek, not sure which. The Czech Republic striker leads the line on the opening day for Barcelona, but maybe isn't quite the future of their attack, scoring just 8 goals in the previous season, having arrived from Roma for almost 20 million quid. However, I'm sure Paddy is only in the team because a certain Lionel Messi is injured. Yes, 5 years in the future and the best player in the world is still going, but his powers appear to be waning ever so slightly. Entering the twilight years of his career, Messi's average rating has dropped every season, and during the previous campaign he managed just 9 league goals, suggesting that maybe it's time he called it a day and rode off into the sunset. So that's Barcelona in 2023 according to Football Manager 2018. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.